What's up everyone, Danny Lightning back with another video. Today we are going to check out my favorite live racing cars of mid 2024. We're halfway through the year, so hey, mid 2024, best live racing cars in the game in my opinion. Now these are the live racing cars that I use personally on a daily basis. I love every one of these. There are quite a few of these, and these are not the only good live racing cars in the game, but these are the ones that I've upgraded that I use, and I know they're just doing really well. Now a lot of these are going to be the paid cars, but there's also a bunch of cars you can get for free in here as well. But my first favorite is going to be the Kelly & Sons Bel Air. This thing is really nice. I like this one a lot. Number 2, the Koenigsegg Gemera. This thing is a pure beast if you know how to set it up. This thing is just a monster at all kinds of different stuff. Very tunable, very cool. I absolutely love this car. I mean, this one is just super good. If you have a chance to get the Gemera, make sure you get the Gemera. Next, we got the Toyota GR Supra. This is a car that everybody's going to get for free from Elite Tuners at some point. And this is just a really good car. I mean, this car is good at everything if you know how to tune it. It's not one of the best cars in the game, but it's kind of like one step under the best cars in the game. So for a free car, you cannot complain. This thing is good. Next, we have the Regera, the CSR2 Edition Ghost Package. Now, there's quite a few different Regeras in the game, and I know most, if not all of them, are really good live racers. These are all set up for the low performance point high Evo tune, so you don't need any stage 6 parts for most of them. And these things are just really good on the live racing track, guys and gals. So yeah, Regeras are awesome. Next, I have the Devel 16. This is another really amazing car. I like this one a lot. It's a crazy looking car. This one's not easy to get, unfortunately, but that is a cool car. We have the new Nissan GTR Nismo GT3. I really do like this car a lot. It is pretty awesome. Yeah, that's a nice car. I like it. So let's move to the next garage. Next, we have the Chevrolet Ring Brothers Chevelle Recoil. This car is just beautiful, and it is a monster on the live racing track. I love this thing. Next up, the Ford F-150 Huna Ken Block car. This thing is amazing. Next, we have the Audi S1 Hunatron. If you can get the hang of launching this car, it's terrible to launch. I don't know why they made it such a pain to launch, but if you can get the hang of launching this car, it is a really great live racer and a lot of fun. After that, we have the Sperling Goodwood Edition. This little car is awesome. Love it. Weird little car, man. It's like this little short car, but it's pretty amazing. Next, we have the Bugatti Bullard. This car is a beast on the live track. And then if we move over here, we got the Terrazzo Millennio by Lamborghini. And this guy is also a beast on the live track. Love all these cars so far, but wait, there's more. Next on the list, we have the Challenger Mopar Drag Pack. This one's probably not quite as good as the cars we just looked at, but this is also a very good live racer if you set it up correctly. I really like this car. Next, we have the Bentley Continental GT3. Now, most of the Bentleys in the game are terrible live racers, but for some reason, they made this particular one here very good. So this one is great. This is one of the only Bentleys in the game that can live race worth a darn. So it's nice they gave us something for a Bentley, you know. Next, we have another Gemera. We already went over the Gemeras. It doesn't matter which one it is. They're all just super amazing when it comes to live racing. Next, we have the Harkness Sesto Elemento. If you put this on all stage 5 parts and still fill stage 1 through 5 with fusions, you can set this up to do really well at live racing. It's probably not one of the best live racing cars in the game, but it does quite well. Now, this is a car that takes a lot of people by surprise. We got the McLaren Artura. This thing is a live racing machine. It's very rare that this thing loses a live race. I mean, it gets some sort of huge lobby advantage or something. You know, a lot of people don't like the way this car looks. I don't like the color I got, I'll tell you that. It's like a nasty pea green, but That car is a complete monster on the live racing track. Next, we have the McLaren F1. If you set this up to run in the slower lobbies, this car can be super good. It earns the most RP out of any car in the game, especially once you get all the bells and whistles and bonuses going from the Legend stuff. Now, it's kind of like the Elite Tuners cars, right? They get big bonuses as well, and they earn more than most cars, but this one will earn the most. I think the Elite Tuners cars will earn the second most, but this is a really good car if you like it. I mean, it's a huge RP getter once you got everything going for it. Like, I don't have a whole lot of Legends bonuses, so it's not like the biggest earner for me, but it still makes huge RP even without the bonuses. Next, we have the Venom F5 Roadster. This thing is a pure super beast. I mean, this car is a beast. Complete beast. It'll destroy everything on the it'll destroy pretty much everything on the racetrack if you know how to set it up. I mean, that's the key to these live racing cars. You have to know what parts to fit onto them and how to tune them. I probably do have videos on every one of these cars and how to set them up for live racing. Next, we have the CC850 by Koenigsegg. This car is crazy good from what I remember. I've barely driven this one, but I remember setting this up for live racing and being extremely impressed with it. I was just like, man, and it only needs what, like 2 parts? Yeah, I've got stage 3 tires and stage 3 transmission installed on it currently with 2,147 Evo points. Everything else is just fit back to stock, guys. I mean, that car is a monster with only 2 parts. And don't forget to check out the Danny Lightning merch store for a really awesome coffee cup or t-shirts or flip-flops or who knows what else we might be selling over there. There's a link in the video's description. And I think if you click down the pinned comment, no, the description and the pinned comment, you'll find a link for that as well. So yeah, check that out. Check that out. Danny Lightning merch store. Oh yeah. If you don't buy something from the Danny Lightning merch store, you will have bad luck for the next 47 years. Okay, that's a lie. But next we have the Zonda Chinook Coupe. This thing is really good on the live racing track. I was not expecting this, but this is an excellent live racer, guys and gals. Excellent. Next, we're going to go ahead and move over to the Kinblock Huna Pegasus, the pink Porsche. Great live racing car if you like the way it looks. I know a lot of people didn't want to get this because it was pink, but, you know, if you can get over the color, that's a nice car. That's a very nice car. Now, we got the regular Bugatti Chiron, and this is one that really surprised me. I was not expecting to find a live racing setup for this car, but I did. This thing is really good at live racing on a low performance point, high EVO setup. I was like, yeah, you know, there's no way this is going to have a good low performance point, high EVO, but I was like, I'm gonna check anyways, and it did, and I was really surprised. I mean, normally these Bugattis are terrible at live racing. Now, I don't know if like the Purple Star version with like the launch edition or whatever it is has the same thing. I should probably try because I think I have one of those. But this is just a really good car. Like, love it for live racing. Don't like it for anything else, but love it for live racing. Alright, so next over here we have the Valhalla Concept. This is something I don't drive very often, but the few times I did take this into the live racing track, it was a beast. I remember when I got this car, I was really excited to get it. I'm like, yeah, this is a great live racer. And then I think like shortly after, I got something else I liked a little better, and I kind of forgot about this one. But this is a great live racing car, along with everything you've seen so far. I mean, we got some tier 1 cars, tier 2 cars, tier 3 cars, tier 4 cars to show you. So let's move on to the next garage. Next, we have the Rocket Bunny Boss Aero 240SX. This is a nice little live racing car. I don't think it's going to be one of the absolute best live racing cars, but this little guy does halfway decent. It's not great, but it's pretty darn good at live. Next, we have the Cento Daihatsu. I think on all stage 4 parts or all stage 3 parts or something, this car does have a monster of a live racing setup. This one's really complicated and hard to tune and get right. Like, I changed my tune around and I can't figure out how to get back to where I had it, but This car can be really good if you can figure out the tuning. It's a pain to tune this one for live, so you can try if you got one, but it's not fun. Next, we have the back mono. This car has a great live racing setup. I need to try and reset this one up because I haven't messed with this one for a while, but this one can be really, really, really good at live racing. It's fun to drive. It's a weird little car. It was getting a huge lobby advantage last time I live raced it. It was just pretty amazing. So if you got one of these, you can definitely set these up for live racing. Maybe I'll play around with this later today, and maybe tomorrow on my live racing live stream, maybe tomorrow I'll fix this car up for live because I would like to get that out and drive it again. I haven't driven it for a while, but it's an awesome car. Next, we have the Fast and Furious Ford Escort, the RS 1600. This little thing is a tier 4 beast. I mean, this is such a good car. It's not even funny. I mean, it is such a good car. It is not even funny. This little dude tears up everybody in everything on a racetrack. I mean, it just doesn't really lose races. Next, I got the 1970 Charger RT. This is another Fast and Furious car. I wouldn't say this is a great live racer, but it does win a few here and there. It does pretty okay, but it doesn't do wonderful. So this isn't really one that I would highly suggest setting up for live racing. But if you do have the car, you know, you can set it up on, I think, stage 3 tires, stage 4 transmissions, stage 1, 2, or 3 nitrous, something like that, and it does okay. Nothing great, but it does okay. Actually, it looks like I've got that car on all stage 3 parts, so it's fit to everything stage 3, except for, where's my even my transmission's on stage 3 for some reason, so I guess that's a stage 3 live racing car. I could probably tweak that and find something good to do with it, but, you know. Now we're into my favorite tier 4 cars. There are a couple of other tier 5 cars I don't have upgraded that we'll look at in a minute, but the Subaru WRX STI, this is one of those elite tuners cars that I think you're probably going to get a chance to get for free. Now, back when I was doing elite tuners, we got this one for free. I don't know if they're still giving it out for free or if you have to buy it with gold, but either way, this car is awesome. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Next, we have the Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. This one has a redonkulous setup. I mean, this is probably one of the absolute best live racing cars in the game. It may not be the greatest or the most interesting car to look at, but if you know how to set this thing up, it can destroy pretty much everything. It's almost like the Gamera of tier 4. Almost, not quite, but almost. Yeah, just nasty on the live racing track. You can't beat it, but let's move on to the next car. The next thing we have is the Nissan Juke 2.0. The Juke R 2.0. This little car doesn't look like much, but if you put it on stage 4 parts, I think stage 3 parts, or maybe even stage 5 parts, you can run some crazy live races with this. I'm pretty sure I normally keep mine on stage 4. It seems to really just wreck everything on stage 4. You could probably move some parts around to change lobbies or this or that. This one is a little bit versatile, but I keep mine on the stage 4 setup, and technically, I don't know why it does what it does, but it destroys everybody. It's just really, 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 really good. Really, really good. Really good. Really good. And then I do have a couple of cars in here that I need to move out of these garages. Next, we have the 595 SC. It wins a few, right? It's a pretty decent little car, but nothing special. It doesn't win a couple of live races. Then for some reason I got this in here. This is not a good live racer anymore. It used to be. This can be a great live racer by beating the dyno time, but most of us know that every time you run a car in live and you beat the dyno, the game likes to move you from lobby to lobby to lobby to lobby till you're in a lobby that's everybody's so fast you can't win anymore. And that's why I do these low performance point high Evo setups, because you can keep those in the same lobby, and then you don't have the headache of moving to a lobby where you don't want to be and trying to reset the car. That's just a nightmare. So yeah, I don't like this car anymore for live racing, but it used to be really good. Next, we're going to take a look at the Sylvia S15 Rocket Bunny. And this car needs to be 100% maxed out, all the stage 6 parts, all the fusions. And for some really weird reason, this car doesn't do what it's supposed to do. The way the numbers work, the way it's set up, it technically should not win live races, but it does. It wins the majority of live races easily, but you do have to max the car out 100%. It does not do well unless you completely max it out. Like, it's just a 100% monster beast maxed out. So if you got a Sylvia S15 Rocket Bunny and you got enough parts to put on it, max it out. It doesn't even need the elite parts. Just max it out without the elite parts. I don't think I've really done any elite upgrades on it to add more parts. So it's just a really good car for live. Not really a great car for anything else, but good car for live. Alright, so next we have the 2023 M2 Coupe and Performance. I'm pretty sure at one time they gave everybody this car for free, so a lot of people do have it right now. It has purple stars. This car has a really good live racing setup, which blew me away because normally tier 3 cars don't have that. Most tier 3 cars are terrible at live racing, but I think this one actually does really well, which is awesome. One of these days I should probably upgrade this and drive it, just because it's rare to find a good tier 3 car that does anything good, honestly. Most tier 3 cars in the game are terrible in general. It's nice that we got a couple of good ones recently, but yeah, that's a really good car. In tier 2 we have the Rocket Bunny Miata MX5. This one seems to do really well at live racing. I haven't really live raced it enough to know if it's going to continue to keep doing well, but every time I do take it into live racing, it's been rocking it out. I don't think I really had any type of special parts installed on this one, but this car gets pretty high Evo points without a lot of upgrades on it, which is cool. Like right now I've almost got it maxed out, but it's got 1,495 Evo points, which is really high for a tier 2 car. Most tier 2 cars don't get that, which is crazy good. This is just an all-around awesome tier 2 car for pretty much everything. This will also beat Tempest on stage 5 parts only. You don't even need stage 6 parts to make this car beat Tempest. It's just really good for pretty much everything when it comes to tier 2. Next we have the tier 2 Porsche Boxster. This car is pretty much almost maxed out, or even if it's not, I used to earn over 100,000 respect points for my crew every season by just live racing this when I was a new player. I would probably spend an hour or two every day live racing this car, and I would seriously make, huge amounts of RP like it was nothing, just with this car by itself, not doing the Prestige Cup or any of that stuff, just live racing this car. So this is a great little live racer. Next we have the John Cooper Works GP. This one's a little bit weird. A lot of people don't like the way it drives, but it can do pretty well at live racing. Next we have KJ's Toyota 86 Rocket Bunny. For some reason I really enjoy live racing this. It seems to do great. It's probably not one of the best cars in the world, but it does seem to win a lot of live races, so it looks really nice. It's fun to drive. I like to take it into live racing occasionally, maybe 2 or 3 times a year for fun. I'll go grab this one and live race with it, and it always does really well for me. Next we have the little tier 1 Angel Civic 1.5, or if you have the Golden Star version of this, it does really well at live racing too. These are great little fun live racing cars. And then we have Sneak's Focus Trackster. Now the problem with this one is it blows everybody away, so it usually gets bumped into lobbies where it can't win anymore, but before that happens, this is a really cool car to live race. You can probably go and reset these cars, but that's another headache. I'm not going to get into that whole mess on this video. This video is probably going to be long enough as it is, but yeah, let's move on to the next car. Next is the Volkswagen Golf GTI with or without the star. These are great little live racing cars. You should definitely pick this as your very first car in CSR2 racing, because you can live race it. It'll beat all of the bosses except for the last one, where they give you a specific car and force you to use it. But it'll beat all the boss. It would beat the last boss if it wasn't for the fact they force you to use another car. But it will beat the first 3 bosses. It'll beat the first storyline boss, Tempest 1, Tempest 2, and then like I said, when you hit Tempest 3, they make you use a different car. But GTI, awesome little tier 1 car. Love it. So the AMR 500, this is another tier 1 car that does surprisingly well for live racing. I actually like this one a lot. I mean, I was expecting this car to be really bad. I was expecting to hate this car, but this car actually does really good. So this is something you might want to look at. I know a lot of people really enjoy live racing the Boss Mustang 302s or the Mustang Boss 302s or whatever you want to call it. These do require some parts added to them for the elite tokens in order to level them up, because they're a lot slower until you start adding a bunch of these upgrades. That's the one problem with the Legends cars and the Elite Tuners cars and the Elite Customs cars as well. You got to add these tokens into them to get all the parts and make them fast. This one may be good at live racing. Without that, I'm not 100% sure. I don't really drive this one much, but a lot of people love this one here. Now this is a tier 2 car that I missed, the Golf GTI Rocket Bunny. This one is very cool. It's very fun to drive. It does pretty decent at live racing, and I just really like this car a lot. So this is something you might want to look at. You definitely might want to look at this car if you've got it, right? Fun to drive, very cool, beats Tempest, just nice all-around car that's fun and awesome. All right, let's move on to the next car. Let's look for anything else that I missed. Now there's a couple of BMWs here. I can't remember which one, but I think one of these, it might have been this 2023 M2 Coupe. One of these were pretty decent at live racing, but I don't remember which one offhand. In this garage, we have the Mustang Dark Horse. A lot of people really do enjoy live racing that one. I don't really use it much, but I know that's something a lot of people do like to live race. So that's a really good live racer according to other people. I don't really remember, but a lot of people say they like it. Alright, so next up we have the Tier 4 Audi RS6 Avant. I do not like the way these cars drive. I hate driving them, but these are excellent live racing cars if you know what you're doing with them. If you know how to set these things up, these RS6s are really, 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 really good, but I just can't shift these things for some reason. The shift pattern just doesn't agree with me, but there's a few different RS6 versions and RS7 versions in the game that seem to be great live racers if you like driving them. Alright, the tier 4 2023 M4 CLS. Now I've never upgraded mine, but I know a lot of people that actually use this on a daily basis. That car, if you figure out how to set it up, is a monster. I mean, I've been beaten by this car many times. So that car will destroy you if you know how to set it up. So that is a really good tier 4 car. Next, we have the Lexus LC500. Supposedly, this is one of the better live racing cars in the game. I've never upgraded mine yet, but I know a lot of people who use this daily. They love it. They say it's an excellent live racer. So if you've upgraded that, you might want to play around and see if you can find a low performance point high evo setup for it, because a lot of people seem to love this thing. Alright, next we have the Tier 4 Hyundai Ioniq 5. I've never actually upgraded mine, but this car is a beast. I know a lot of people who use it. I did test it out on the content account. It's got great numbers, and people say this just blows most people away on the racetrack, so this one appears to be pretty good according to other people. I remember setting up the Enzo on the content account, and it had great numbers, so I would think, I can't guarantee it, but I would think the Enzo would do very well at live racing. That's one of those cars I've always been meaning to upgrade, but I never got around to it. But yeah, I think an Enzo is going to do it to it, so you might want to check out the Enzo. Next, we have the little Evo 37. This is a really cool live racing car. I've never live raced it myself, but I know a lot of people that use this all the time, and it does have good numbers on the content account, so this car technically should be a great live racer. Don't quote me on that, but one of these days, I'm going to upgrade this if I have enough fusion parts for it. It's not easy to get parts for, but it should do very well for live. Alright, the Hoonigan Caprice Donk. As much as I don't really like this car, it's just big. It's got ginormous wheels that it just doesn't seem like something you would see on the drag strip. But this car, if you set it up correctly, will womp all over people and destroy them big time. Alright, so next we're going to get into the Elite Tuners cars. The Mark IV Supra is a very good live racer. The 720S is a very good live racer. Next we have these 6 cars right here. The Nissan Skyline GTR Elite Tuners car is really good. The NSX Type R is pretty decent. The Sylvia Spec R is really good. The other ones, if I don't mention them, probably aren't the greatest live racers. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Those are the cars that I recommend or I know people use and love. Now, there's a pretty good chance I missed a few of the cars that I own, or there's probably some cars that I don't own that, you know, are great at live racing, but I can't show you those. And if I got on the other account and had to go through 1,000 cars versus the 500 or 600 that I have, that would take even longer. That would be a crazy video. And then I probably wouldn't remember anyways because my memory sucks. But yeah, why did I just do that? Don't mind me. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, I mean, the Toyota GR Supra is probably one of my most used cars. It's got 1,699 miles on it. I probably have some older ones. I mean, I've been playing the game for about 7 years now, so I've probably got some older cars with more miles on them than this. But this is one of the ones I got a couple of years ago that I probably use more than any other car for live racing just because I love the way it looks. It earns more RP than most cars, and it just does awesome. So that's probably one of my go-to live racers when I just decide, hey, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna run a couple of races. What should I grab? Let's grab the Supra and earn some extra RP. That's normally why I grab this one. But there are so many good live racing cars in the game, and you were supposed to see that Supra on the screen, but it's okay. You can just hear about it. You don't have to see it. You can just hear about it. We're talking about the GR Supra from Elite Tuners. But anyways, I think that's going to wrap the video up. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are super amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to learn about the game, just go to my channel and scroll down. You'll find all my playlists from the CSR2 Beginner's Guide to the CSR2 Basics, the How to Tune playlist, you know, how to drive different cars. There's all kinds of different things to learn about. This game has a lot going on, and I've got hundreds of videos on those playlists to teach you all about the game. So yeah, you might want to check that out. And if you drop down the video's description, you'll see my Discord server, my other YouTube channels. You'll see some links to some really important game news and info and stuff you might want to check out, plus some ways to help support the channel so I can keep bringing you videos just like this and all kinds of good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Lightning out. See ya.